we're doing. We talked about this yesterday when we did this part A. All right, but I just want to review just a little bit more. So let's write this down. Let's do a couple functions. So I've got f of x equals. I'm just grabbing this right from the book. I'll start with a real easy one first. Did I do this one yesterday? Negative 6x plus 9. Did I do that one? That's what I thought. Thought it looked familiar. Let's do a different one then. Here's one. It's just as easy. Just different numbers though. 8x plus 12, and then g of x is 3x minus 1. And they're going to ask you to find f of g of x, f composition g of x. And they're also going to ask you to find g composition f of x. I don't know if they do it in this lesson or not, or even in this chapter, but there's something else that's important about finding both of them. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but there is something that you may learn later that you have to find f composition g and g composition f and look at the answer and determine something from it. But I don't think we're going to do that right now. Anyway, let's just take a look at it and do this. What does this mean? F composition g of x. It means f of g of x. To me, I like this notation a little bit better. This makes a little more sense to me. And what does that mean? We talked about this yesterday. We said we're going to take the g of x and put it into what? The f function. And what does that mean right here? It means we take our g of x, which is this, and we're going to put it in the f function. When I say put it in the f function, what does that mean? It means replace the x. Good. Replace the x with the g of x. Does that make sense? So that's basically what this thing right here is telling you to do. So when it says f composition g of x, we take the g of x first and put it into the f function. So we're taking this and put it into here. So what's that going to look like? It's going to look like 8 times, instead of 8x, it's 8 times this thing right here, which is 3x minus 1. And then plus 12. And then you just work that thing out. So 8 threes are 24, minus 8, plus 12. Almost done. 24x plus 4. So that's what that would be. All right, so that's f composition g of x. We did this yesterday, though, didn't we? Okay, let's do another one like this. We'll do the g composition f of x. So let me try to stay color coordinated here. So let's go g of f of x. Now it's different though, isn't it? Because now we're taking what? We're taking the f function and we're going to put the f function into the g function. So let's come over here. So this time we're going to take the f function, which is 8x plus 12, and we're going to put it in for the x right there. Everybody got that? Same kind of deal, okay? Just go in a different order. All right, so let's see what that does. So we're putting this in for this x right there. So let's just rewrite this thing. So it's 3 times, instead of x, what are we sticking in for the x? 8x plus 12. Good. So 8x plus 12. And then finish off the rest of this function, minus 1. You see that? That's 3x minus 1, isn't it? But what did we stick in the x? We put the f function in for that x. And let's see what we get. 8 threes are what? 24 again? 24x plus 36 minus 1. We're almost done. 24x plus 35. And then that's what they want you to do. Easy stuff, isn't it? It's not that hard. Again, it's just a notation. The arithmetic's easy. It's just knowing what to put in where. That's the part that they're really trying to get you to understand. All right? And why do we have to do stuff like this? Well, this is kind of like pre-calculus kind of stuff, okay? Because when you do some calculus, you're going to be doing things with things called derivatives. You're going to look at the definition of a derivative, and you're going to have to take functions and plug them in for other functions and all this. So this is just giving you a framework, okay, some groundwork on what you could possibly do later. And you're probably looking at me thinking, I'll never take calculus, so who cares about this? And you're probably right, but that's okay. It's good to learn stuff. Even if you don't use it, it's still good to learn stuff. And maybe someday in your life, you'll look back and you'll kind of understand. Just the fact of learning something, anything, just learning how to learn is really an important principle in your life, I think. Let's do a couple other functions. Let's do, tell you what, run a little shorter time. Let's do a different type. Let's do a little bit of a different type. So let's say, here's my f function, and it's 5x squared minus 2x. And then my g function is 6x plus 4. All right? And they're going to ask you to do this. They're going to say find f composition g, and we'll just put a nice easy number in there of 2. So what in the world are we going to do here? Well, this f composition g, this fog, this FOG, whatever you want to call it, it's not really an O, it's just a little circle. It means what? It means f of what? G, talk to me, of what? F of G of 2. We've got a 2 right here. It's not x. It's 2 this time. They actually have a number. Well, what does that mean? First of all, what do we have to do? Yeah, well, you got to put the 2 in for the x in which function first? Into the g function, okay? Because it says g of 2. We work from the inside out. Okay, so you do the g function first, and then you take that, and then you plug that answer into the f function. So you're not putting a 2 in both places. Everybody see that? You're putting a 2 into the g function. So you're putting a 2 into the g function right there. So it's 6 times 2 plus 4. That's 12 plus 4, and that's 16. That's g of 2. All right, so now really what we're doing is this. We're doing f of what? G of 2 was 16, right? So now we're doing f of 16. So that means we take that 16, and where do we put that? Into the f function. So wherever the x is, we stick that into the f function. So we're going to put that in right there, and we're going to put that 16 in right there. Make sense? All right, so let's do that. So it's going to be 5. Oh, we're going to get some big crazy number here. 5 times 16 squared minus 2 times 16. Yeah, I have no idea what 16 squared is.
I know 15 squared is 2.5.
Right, right about that. 16 squared is 256. Okay, and then times 5 is 1280. And then minus, what's that? You can do that in your head, right? 32. So 1280 minus 32 is 1248. And there's your answer. 1248. You don't have any x's in this, do you? Because you're actually putting a number in for your x's. So it's not just f composition g of x, it's f composition g of 2. So you put the 2 in for the g function first. Everybody got it? What if you did this? What if I asked you, let's give me this tan color. What if I said, let's go G composition F of 2? Then what would you do? Would it be the same answer? Is it the same exact thing? It's G of F of 2, isn't it? So this time we put the 2 into which function first?
Yeah.
Into the F function, into here. So let's do that. So it's going to be 5 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2. It's a little easier. 2 squared is 4 times 5 is 20 minus 4 is 16. Oh, look at that. We get the same thing, didn't we? And that's not always going to work out like that, but that was kind of nice. So that's 16. So what are we going to do now? We're going to take that, see, this f of 2 is 16, and we're going to do what to it? Put that into the g function. So you take that 16 and you put it into here. So what's that going to give you? 6 times 16 plus 4. What's 6 times 16? I should be able to do that in my head, but 6 times 16. Oops. Try it.
No.
I know. I said oops. That's what oops means. And then you're still going to yell at me. 6 times 16 is 96. I should have been able to do that. So 96 plus 4 is what? 100. So you don't get the same thing, do you? All right, even though you got the same thing for the first one that we did. All right, so there you go. That's F composition G of 2. This is G composition F of 2. That's pretty much it. Okay, that's the kind of stuff And to tell you the truth, on this worksheet, let me check this out. On this worksheet, I don't understand why. I don't know if it's my fault or they just don't have the problems like this in the program that I use to make this worksheet. But they don't have any problems like this where you have to put a 2 in for this. But I'm pretty sure if I give you a quiz or a test on this, I'm pretty sure I give you a problem like that. So make sure that you do write this stuff down and you know how to do it. I'll have to double check the program that I use to make these worksheets and see if they have any problems like this, and maybe I'll throw some at you so that you can practice those. All right? So I'm going to give you 3-7B. That'll be due tomorrow. Remember, we're taking a quiz on Friday. Be here Friday. Okay, you're supposed to be here. So be here. Taking the weekend off and not taking the quiz is not going to help you, especially prom weekend, and you know you're not going to be studying during the prom weekend. So you might as well just take it Friday, get it over with, right? It actually covers 2 sections. Usually the quizzes cover just 1 section, but this is going to be 3-6 and 3-7. All right, so it'd be this composition stuff, that f of g, g of, or f of x and g of x stuff. Plus it's going to be that 3-6 was that graphing stuff, right? Wasn't 3-6 graphing? Yep. Okay, so make sure you know how to do all of that. I think there's 10 questions. I think there's 10 questions on it. Let me double check. Yep. Yep, there's 10 questions on this one. Okay, so a little longer. It seems like lately all our quizzes have only been about 5 questions, but this is going to be 10 questions. Let me give you your worksheet and you can go.